just being tuned with the radio station all the time, just a real article place and, the real in tune with agriculture and support like that. So, good evening to the folks of Antigua and Barbuda also, and the folks of Bermuda, even have some guests here in Ireland who now resides here. Also, the folks throughout the diaspora up to North America, Canada, all up to Alaska, and all along to the Florida Keys, Atlanta, New York, Boston, people over in Chicago. It seems like the place is still cold, yeah, son, where, sometimes the temperature fluctuates up and down in the spring season. So also the folks over in Europe, the time zone is different. So we really appreciate you guys when up ahead, it's much late going down early in the morning. So, and then still have to get up and go to work. So we really can't take you guys for granted. And the folks over in Acapella land, the Africa, and also the folks over in Costa Rica, where our students are studying. And wherever you're at the sound of my voice, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever is appropriate. Welcome, and as Yasin said, there's a lot to talk about this evening. So share the link, subscribe, go over to the YouTube channel, and I want to get off the Facebook because you see that the material is being deleted. So we want to encourage everyone to go over to the YouTube channel and stuff like that and subscribe, and also let everyone know that DeTopiks is on, where we have educational shows and good reasoning and stuff like that. So, yeah, son, yeah, I'll stop there.
All right. Banky, it's always a pleasure to be here on the platform and to be able to talk to our people and bring, a number of topics to the platform. We are known for bringing, the hard-hitting topics and the topics that sometimes, people don't generally want to address and deal with. But we bring them to the fore. It's very, very interesting this evening. We do see the red, green, and gold flag flying in the background, and we are seeing some elders on the platform. And so this evening, the first part of our true conversation, because as we say, we ain't canning anybody, so we're in a conversation. We're gonna have a true conversation, and as a part of the true conversation this evening, we have members of the Higher Heights Rastafari organization. Higher Heights Rastafari organization hails out of the island of Nevis, and we have 3 of the members, and we're going to give them an opportunity to introduce themselves and then introduce the organization, and then we'll talk about some of the events that is proposed for this month, and later on we would have shared last week with our listeners the activities in terms of listing out the activities, but now we have you here in person to even tell them more about the activities and what to expect and so on. So first up, I don't know which, who's going to start first, but I'll give you an opportunity to introduce yourself and let the people know, who you are. And then you could tell us a little bit about the organization, and then we get into the activities. So the floor is yours.
Bless and love, Rastafari. I greet thee in the name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I. And my name is Ras Genesis, Chair of Higher Heights Rastafari Movement. Haile.
Greetings in the name of His Imperial Majesty, Haile Selassie I. My name is Ras Brigo, and I am the Assistant Secretary Treasurer of the organization.
Greetings. In the name of the Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie I, Empress Menin. I and I, Ras Aiba, from Higher Heights, Rastafari Movement. Blessed love.
All right, Rastafari. Welcome to the Topiks. First time on the platform. We just want to welcome the eyes and looking forward to the engagement. Now, Higher Heights Rastafari organization. Tell us a little bit more about Higher Heights Rastafari organization. when has this organization, or when did this organization begin? And tell us a little bit more about the organization, those who may not know.
Greetings. Yes, sir. Blessed love. Now, Higher Heights started in 2022 on the 23rd of May, officially. We started and we've been doing a little thing here and there. After the first year, we decided we wanted to engage on a project for the elderly. And we have focused on the elderly for the first term. And the first term is for 3 years. But during that 3 years, we want to establish um, a program that deals with the elderly in particular, and one that is sustainable. Because we don't want to start a project and then next time it dies out. We want it to continue. And then when it shows progress, then we can branch into another project. So we have concentrated on the elderly for the first term to establish that sort of program. And we came up with a program where we supply some hygienic materials, items to the elderly, those that are housebound, and so on. We've been having some item sales on the side of the road here and there to raise funds to assist with that. We also go down to Herbert Beach during Culturama and the Herbert Beach Affair, and we run a booth that helps with the financing of these projects. The first year we started the project, we dealt with from Westbury to Gingerland. We omitted those in the homes because those in the homes are dealt with by government and various establishments. So we concentrate on those housebound. And so we dealt with those from Westbury all the way over to Gingerland. And then after, when we did our evaluation, we decided that we need to extend it to the entire island. And so in December, we extended to the entire island and cover all the various parishes and areas. And so we had a successful.
Okay, seems as if there's a little interruption here, a little technical difficulty on that side. When they do get that sorted out, I want to really zoom in on that, because that we just shared in terms of looking after the elderly, because that is something that is very pivotal to the Rastafari, especially the Nyabingi community, where the aged must be looked after, the children must be fed, and the hungry should be nourished, and should be given a place to sojourn and so forth. And these are some of the basic principles and tenets that runs through Rastafari. Really and truly, that is something that should have really been noticeable throughout the years, apart from Genesis and the Higher Heights organization seeking to make this something that is a pivotal project of something that they're working on. It is something that is very much embedded in the Rastafari community. For years, we know that the Bingi community, like I said, would have been doing a lot of that at several juncture. we the people in the community sometimes do not necessarily give as much credence to the Rastafari community in terms of making such efforts and such contributions in our societies and communities. A lot of it too because of how society would have sought to label the Rastafari and have Rastafari in that kind of category, that even anything good that is seen to be done, even if it is deemed to be good, it is still not given any credit and credence and so on. So it's quite a meditation, as we look at what is taking place, and I do look forward to hearing more about the activities that they're about to
Excuse me, your son.
they're about to put on. Higher heights. I would not have recognized that the organization would have been set up for at least 3 years now, because they said 2022. This is now 2025, and I love the fact that they are doing what they're doing, and they're seeking to create activities to raise funds towards the cause. They're not just saying that they want to do this, but they're actually, putting on activities and seeking to do things in an effort to achieve their objective. All I would want to encourage people who are listening to continue to support the brothers and sisters who are part of such organization, Higher Heights, and many other of the Rastafari organizations who over the years would have, been playing their role in communities, though not given the sort of credit that should be and should have been given to the organization and the movement. And part of it, and a huge part of it, is as a result of that which seemingly is one of the hot topics in our society right now, cannabis. And when we look at what Rastafari would have gone through over the years as a result of cannabis, and still, even in these times, not getting the true recognition that they should be getting in that regards. It is quite important for us to pay attention to some of these things. So it's quite interesting, and looking forward. I'm really looking forward to the discussion, especially seeing as well that yesterday, the 5th of May, we commemorate the day, the Battle of Adowa, where Italy sought to try to invade Ethiopia, which was and is remaining to be the last and only state, so to speak, in Africa that were not colonized by the West. So that battle was very critical, very, very critical battle for Ethiopia and for Africa as a whole. And so it meant a lot to the people of Ethiopia, and it meant a lot to the continent of Africa that this country was able to fight off and be victorious in removing these people who still continue to want to, in their subtle sometimes ways and blatant in some cases ways, want to still dictate how things function in Africa. And we have some of our own people, some of our own leaders who have been brain bleached. That's how I described it. Because I say sometimes, when you wash, if you wash something, it might maintain the color still. But some of these, people brain gone so far, like the brain ain't just wash, the brain bleach. There's like no turning back for some of these people who have these mentality. And it is some of these people who are sometimes carefully chosen to be placed in certain positions to help to maintain that system that was never designed for us. And that is part of the conundrum that we find ourselves in at this time as we continue on the journey and on the struggle. And it is important for us to recognize the contributions of Rastafari over these years and over the times, and to give the credit and credence where the credit and credence is due. Even I do listen to Mota Baruka and Sister Kabu, and they run an African program in Jamaica on a regular basis, and sometimes I am very much involved in some of the issues and so on taking place over there in Jamaica. And one such issue is in relation to some of the things that we are here discussing, in relation to how seemingly, they are what do you call it? Commodifying. They're commodifying Rastafari to the point where the things that Rastafari went to the struggle to deal with is the things that they are taking and seeking to make millions and billions off of, and still want to leave Rastafari in the category where they are not making the money and they are not benefiting from the things that are theirs. So one of the things highlighted was in relation to how the tourism board in Jamaica and the government, so to speak, is using Bob Marley as a brand, a tourism brand. Bob Marley with a big spliff in his mouth. But yet, they still harassing and locking up Rastaman for cannabis in Jamaica. And yes, we can say to some extent that on St. Kitts and Nevis, the government has gone a bit further than the government in Jamaica in relation to making certain special provisions for Rastafari in relation to cannabis. Yes, they have. Because some of the things that Rastafari in Jamaica is still struggling with, our government would have legislated to make provisions for some such things. However, there's room for improvement, and there's room for a lot of things that should have been addressed and should have been dealt with. And we hope to get into some of these things and these discussions along the way and along the journey. We're having some technical difficulties. We would have had higher heights on, and I think there's some issues that we really need to sort out, and I think there probably would have been some miscommunication and some things that needed to get sorted out on the other end of things, and we're seeking to address those things and get them sorted out. But we continue this evening with DeTopiks, and you see, like Higher Heights is just back, and so we are now going to be able. I'm hoping that you guys are hearing me. If you guys are hearing me, just let me know you guys are hearing me still. Okay, so then, all right. So then we were at the point where the brethren was sharing his the first year, so to speak, of Higher Heights, in terms of the project that they would have started in terms of taking care of the elderly that are homebound, and the fact that you would have started to move around from Westbury to Gingerland, and the next year you decided, to expand the program and to take care of the whole island. Yeah.
Yes. So the next year we take care, that was December. We expanded to include the entire island, and that proved to be very successful. We had a lot of assistance from groups overseas, who donated pampers and stuff and bed linen and that sort of thing. We had some local companies who chipped in. We had some individuals who responded very favorably and chipped in as well. The response from the community in general was very good. And what we also did is that we run some booths. We run some booths at the Culturama. What do we call that? Herbert Beach Affair. And we set up a stall on the side of the road where we sell ital once a week, every Friday afternoon. And those funds we were able to channel into taking care of some of the expenses we have dealing with these various projects. Coming forward, we decided, like I said, during the first term, and the first term is the first 3 years, we have concentrated on the elderly. And so most of the things we're doing during this period will be centered around the elderly. We hope to channel that energy into the youths for the next term, and that comes up starting next month. What we want to do is to offer some scholarships, going to the various schools and assist with the garden. Some of them have shade houses, and those who have shade houses will assist and ensure that those shade houses are up and going and get them started so that the youth and the teachers can continue. And where it gets in beyond control, then we will come back in and put it back in order. And that's how we plan to deal with the schools and the school projects coming forward. In the meantime, we've been, well, during Black History Month, which is February, we donated some books, some history books from authors from the Caribbean and internationally, and we donated some books to the Ivor Walter School. Coming forward, well, we have a week of activities that the chair will highlight aspects of, and then, but going forward, that's our intentions, and that is our hope, and that is our goal.
Wonderful. I think that it is very important that some of these things are highlighted, because I am sure that people in the community, a lot of people in the community might not be aware of some of these things that are being done by the organization. I'll let the chair speak to the activities, and then there are some questions that I guess I would ask a little bit, later on. So let's get into the activities in terms of this week of activity that is being organized by the organization, and let us know all of the different activities and what people should be looking forward to coming out to these activities.
Yes, I give thanks, yes, sir. On Monday, 19th May, we'll be having a radio quiz on Van Radio 2020 Vision Radio and also Freedom FM Radio. So these will be questions surrounding St. Kitts and Nevis, and also about Emperor Selassie and, few Black history questions as well. Later down in the evening, starting from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., we'll be having a lecture discussion by Brother Michael Blake at the DeTopiks Community Center. So I inviting everyone out on that. Later down, Elder Brigo will give you a synopsis of who Brother Michael Blake is. Also, the lecture discussion will be surrounding the topic, breaking the barriers to positive development as we strive to higher heights. So that will be a topic we'll be discussing. On the Wednesday, 21st of May, we'll be on the mark with Mark Brantley from 8 to 10, also discussing the the program and stuff like that, and also about higher heights as well. As just saying, yes, and a lot of people don't know about higher heights. This is our first interview with you guys, so we give thanks for you guys to have us here to put this information out. On Thursday, 22nd of May, we'll be delivering personal hygiene items and food hampers to the housebound island-wide. Also on Friday, 23rd May, we'll be doing a lecture presentation to the Ivor Walters Primary School. That's where we have donated some books for Black History Month. Also, the topic will be on the historical development of Morning Star, because a lot of people don't know a lot of history around that area. So Higher Heights will come forward and shed some light on that. And on Saturday, the 24th of May, we'll be hosting a natural festival. Now, this will be everything natural. So you'll be getting ital plants, ital food. We'll be selling plants, vegetables, arts and craft, local wine, and also we'll be having a sideshow featuring local artists. The event will be held at the Villa Ground from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. So also we'll be having a DJ there as well. We'll be playing from that time, and also a few more DJs will be joining to continue all through the day, strictly reggae music. No slackness, nothing like that. Strictly reggae music all day long. Also, during the time of the local artists, we'll be featuring two bands. One from St. Kitts, can't remember the name off the top of my head. Burning Bush. That's the name of that band. Burning Bush out of St. Kitts. Trying to get them over here to Nevis. They already started some gigs in St. Kitts. So trying to get them over here to share their talent as well. The other band, they have not give us their name as yet. But yeah, so newcomers right out of here of Nevis, and that will also be a reggae band. So it'll be two reggae bands will be featuring at the Natural Fest event. So that's a wonderful feeling. So we want to promote the local artists, the local talents that are here in Nevis as well. And maybe a few people will come up and do some poetries as well. And James Z, that's one James Z Galloway. I don't know if you know him.
Yes, man. Yes, I.
He's
Virgin.
Yes, I. Yeah, so he'll be doing some poetry and also being a part of the DJing section as well. So that's it for the Natural Fest event. And also within the Natural Fest, we are inviting people to be a part. So anybody who have soaps, they want a future, oils, any item, lotion, anything natural. Anything natural. So it's $75 per tent. Tables will be provided. So you can come on out, bring your products. And all of this is also fundraiser as we go into our second term. So we can have funds to help the needy, and the sick and the shut in and the elderly. And the children as well, because, as the elder said, we're hoping to moving forward to establish some scholarships to the youths as well for this second term. So that's something we are looking at to do, with the youths, start moving forward to help the youths and them also to move forward, whether it's in agriculture, science. Don't know too much about the liar thing, we got enough liar on the earth in the Nevis right now. So we need more agriculture, science and, all that kind of stuff there. So entrepreneurs as well. So we're here to help the people. So Higher Heights, the vision is to move forward and, help our people. That's why the Father give us the energy to focus our energy at this moment in time.
Well, I must say, Selassie, Rastafari. I must say I'm very much impressed. I must say I'm very much impressed with a lot of the things that you guys have achieved over the years that you are in existence, and I am really hoping that people will go on out and support the events that you all are having, and especially too because they are for some worthy causes. And I think that folks who are listening, I must say first of all that we are grateful that we got the opportunity to be able to interview you guys first. That is a honor, something that we should treasure as well. That we got the opportunity to introduce you guys to the public first and get the public to hear first hand for the first time from Higher Heights Rastafari organization. In the same breath, I want to also let you all know that it is an open invitation for you all to come back. So you can always, link either myself or Banky, and, we can find some way to organize to have you back to give updates on other activities that you guys might be involved in, and or to get into some other discussions. So you're open to that. How many members are part of the organization at this point?
We have about a dozen, about 12 members, and I'm saying 12 members, 12 active members. On paper, you have about 25.
Okay.
But we have about 12 active members. Regular.
Okay, so but generally, let's not use the active. On paper you have actually 25 members, registered members, so to speak.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so going organization. We know how it is sometimes within organizations. Sometimes you don't get the full participation and so on, but at the same time, just to know that you do actually have those members, speaks a lot as well. So okay, so that's that side of it. Now that you have been given this platform and now that you are being interviewed, I think, based on what I am hearing so far, that one of the things that is a kind of setback to Rastafari communities as a whole is the lack of this aspect in terms of that public relations, in terms of letting people know what is going on, putting out the information. We know in the past, we would have had the pushback because some Rastas would say, man, they burn technology and all that, and but we're in a time now where information is critical still. Is this something that now you're seeing the benefits of it to some extent that you would be looking forward to do going forward as an organization to be a little bit more active in the social media space and or at least just putting up more information in terms of what the organization is doing?
Well, I can tell you definitely that at present our executive does not have a PRO.
Okay.
But however, going forward, this is one of our aims that we want to tackle. And
Right.
we ban none. We rule out nothing. We want to publicize on every avenue available. Because I was taught, use all the resources available to you. Anything at your disposal that is worthwhile of using, use it. And sometimes it may seem as if the whole package that's offered to you is not completing. Take out the good part and leave the bad part and move on. That's how I see it, and that's how we are heading. We don't rule out nothing. We're dealing with everybody. We're dealing with love and harmony. Because when they come on the 24th, you'll hear a song that's composed by Rasta Judah, one of our members, that he thinks about love and harmony is what we bring as Rastafari. Right? We got to organize in unity. So love and harmony. And once you put those two things together, ain't no stopping you.
And
Of course, can't do those things without the master. Yes,
I am loving the sound of that fest. I'm not sure what you call it, Reggie. What's the correct name that you guys dubbed it? The one where you say you're gonna have the artists and so on performing. Natural Festival. Yes, Natural Festival. I love the sound. Yes, I love the sound of the Natural Festival. You know, it and the sound of you know, those artists, the local artists. Yes, I come in Banky. The local artists. It reminds me of back in the day when I used to do the fish pot spot the fountain, and we used to have them Reggie and them man come up from the castle, and then you had them man coming from Cotton Ground. You remember them days, Reggie? You were attempting to be
we're attempting
beautiful. Yeah, man, we're attempting to be the next Beanie Man or the next Bounty Killer or the next, you know what I mean? Yeah, you know, various whoever it is at the time, you know. And so it's nice to know that we are seeking to bring back that energy and creating that space for the artists to, you know, come out and free up themselves and so on. So I hope a lot of young artists, you know, use the opportunity to come out and expose themselves. 1 minute there, I think Banky wanted to interject something. So Banky.
Yes, sorry about that. It's just tonight I have a little technical difficulties back and forth. That's why I had to excuse myself. So yes, I wanted to get in Sankofa while Reggie and them is still a part of the show, because the link that Reggie them is on, just are gonna come in on the same link and they will get kick off. So just will come in for 9:30. So Reggie them can be about the one Reggie them to be a part of the cannabis thing while Sankofa is here. So then when they exit around 9:20, then Trust I will come in and Sankofa will remain. You know what I mean? So at least they'll be a part of everything. That's what I wanted to interject. Because the time running mistake, you know what I mean? So
yes, sir.
Otherwise,
well, nice.
We got enough space to share. That's the whole point. Otherwise, I don't know everybody else. But everything
I didn't realize Sankofa. I didn't realize Sankofa don't drop in because my image was over.
Trust is by himself.
Yes.
He ain't just saying in the same space again. He ain't just saying in the same space again. That's why. You see, so I had to send him a different link. So Trust I got a link that Reggie them on. You see, so then that's why Reggie them would have to exit around 9. So Trust I come in, but I want them to be a part of the conversation. Well, at least with the cannabis thing. Well, Sankofa is here, and then Trust I come in with his part. At least we get their perspective. You understand?
Well, good timing because actually.
Yes, up until 9:20, they have to keep. We have to make sure Trust I will sign in, otherwise they will get kick off. So we have to keep in mind that you understand that part is specific. Well, end up in
Well,
technical
it's
difficulty
timely.
again. If they do, so
It's
just
timely
letting
because
everybody know
that's
that.
right.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's where I
man,
was
give
gonna.
thanks for
That's
the
where I was
energy.
gonna
Give
get. No,
thanks. Yes, man.
I was gonna get into that aspect of it to find out what is their views and position in terms of, the actual, opening of the medical cannabis office, and some of their stance personally in regards to what is happening. But before we do that, since while you think of your response to that, we already have Sankofa in. So we are gonna give Sankofa a chance to introduce himself and maybe interject himself, because I think you Sankofa should be having an event as well too. Coming up. Yeah, so yeah, you can do that in the introduction, and then we get back into the cannabis. So good evening, welcome to the topics.
Yeah, blessed love, brethren and sisters, Rastafari guidance and protection. Rastankofa representing House of Yehuda, Gideon Force still, Tiwala the House of David. Now you bring all the Rasta group them in a sink is still I give thanks. I as a man will move around and be around. So I give thanks to be able to be part of this discussion. But I still just tuning in. I would have liked to hear from them Nevis Virgin, let them continue with their reasoning so I could be more informed with what them are dealing with still. And because certain dates for the event, even though they told me Sunday, and I probably have it somewhere, I could look back and I still would want a little lineup again of some of the events that they're having. I'm finding out exactly when the event or the show is on, because I think them and the Bingy having something on the same day, which can tie up a lot of us in moving forward to that event. So I just want to remember, be reminded by the timing of the events then, because I want to support and I'm gonna have to choose one or two where I can support, because it's a cost to go to Nevis still. So let me hear from the LLM still, and then I'm gonna come in closer banking. No disrespect to no one still.
No man,
No, that's
respect,
fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Yes, but
Respect,
I can
respect,
I
man.
want to be in order for me to be part of the reasoning with them, being that I wasn't able to see the show
Of
until I
course. That's
just learned
fine.
it, because I was trying to link up with it, but I'm not getting proper. Me not so good on the computer, and sometimes my wife them wasn't getting on. So I want to hear more what they're saying, and then afterwards I'll just come in. Yeah, because I was at the event. Me and Trust Me could talk about it,
Okay.
but I was at the opening and I could talk exactly what happened there. Yeah, when we do
Fine.
conversate. Yeah,
Well, and what I'm
yeah.
gonna do, I'll communicate with Trust I to come at least at 9:45, whatever at least. But I don't
Yeah,
want to short up the time, so I'm just run up the time with Trust I.
yeah,
That ain't a problem. So I'll just do the
yeah.
communication. So me everyone man right now back and forth.
Okay,
yeah, no
okay. No,
problem at
no
all. So
problem. Yeah, I want to hear
Bridget,
what the
um,
brethren think.
while you respond, you could share at the same time again, at least for the listening public as well too, because I think some might be just logging in as well. The list of events and the dates for the activities.
Yes, I. Greetings. On Monday 19th of May, we'll be having a radio quiz on Van Radio, 2020 Vision Radio, and also Freedom FM. On the same day, Monday, 19th of May, later down in the evening, from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., we'll be having a lecture discussion by Brother Michael Blake at the DeTopiks Community Center on Wednesday,
Could I ask a
May,
question? Excuse
on
me, brethren.
Wednesday,
Could I ask? Is it possible I could
yes, I.
ask you a question about what's going to be the topics, and the quiz itself? What's going to be the general, like like what the quiz gonna be all about? Like what's gonna be the discussion, the topic, what
Well,
it
we're
covering?
getting some we're getting some questions and answers together to deliver to the radio stations. The questions gonna be mostly around St. Kitts Nevis, historical events, and also about Emperor Selassie the First, Empress Menin, and other African, history and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
those are what the questions will be around.
That is a great meditation.
The lecture will be about breaking the barriers to positive development as we strive to higher heights. So Brother Michael Blake will be discussing on that topic, or if you want to pick out certain development out of the theme, so you can discuss with the people that will be there. On Wednesday, the 21st of May, they will be on the mark with Mark Brantley at 8 a.m. He'll be on from 8 to 10. So also we'll be bringing forth our events
8
as
p.m.
well. So we'll be advertising as well on that radio program. On Thursday, 22nd of May, we'll be delivering personal hygienes and items and also food hampers to the housebound island-wide. Yeah. On Friday, the 23rd of May, we'll be doing a lecture presentation to the Ivor Walters Primary School on the historical development of Morning Star. So there's a lot of history surrounding Morning Star that a lot of Nevis people and maybe Sinki people don't know about. So we'll be going to the school and lecture about that. Hopefully, Ras Aiba, who will be a part of the lecture, and also Ras Aya. So if you guys want to know a little thing about that, Ras Aiba can expand on that as well. On the Saturday, 24th of May, that's when we'll be hosting the Natural Festival, 24th of May. That will be on a Saturday. So we're inviting everybody out. We'll be having everything local, from ital food, plants, vegetables, arts and craft, local wine. And also later down in the evening, just around sunset, we'll be having a sideshow. So the sideshow, we'll be having like 2 bands, Burning Bush out of St. Kitts, and also a new band that have started to develop here in Nevis as well. So on that day as well, it's going to be everything reggae music. So the time we'll be at the Villa Grounds, starting time from 11 to 11. So from 11 go down throughout until the evening start. We'll be having DJs coming through, strictly reggae music, showing their talent. Like I said, that will be starting from 11, going all the way down to 11. So we're inviting people. So we'll be having people there will be selling, vegetables, displaying their soaps, oils, creams, whatever natural product. And we're also inviting anybody else who want to come on board. They can contact us. My number is 664-0992. Elder Brigo will give his number as well as the show go on. And you want to come on board, it's $75 to participate. And you can come on out and and showcase your local produce, local products. Best of luck. Rastafari.
Aye. Yes, sir. And tent will be provided. Tent and table will be provided for the vendors.
Your number.
All right.
My number is 661-2952.
Okay.
Yes,
So,
you must commend them guys for going on 3 years, because most people come together and within less than a year they fall off and stuff like that. So it shows commitment, you understand, and endurance. So you got to give give the, you understand, give kudos when something positive is being done. So just want to big up Reggie, Aiba, you know what I mean, and the whole of the crew. You understand, who holding down the fort and stuff like that.
Aye.
So
That's
you
one.
got
Blessed.
yes, guys. Running an organization is not as, if you don't put in the, you have to put in the work in everything you do. Sitting on the outside and
Yes, aye.
watching, don't, a lot of paperwork, a lot of communication, a lot of planning, and a lot of people run from these positions and stuff like that. But but you cannot run when you have an organization. Everybody have responsibilities. Otherwise, you find the same set of people doing the same set of stuff all the time. The same president, the same treasurer. No other members within the group want to step up. It don't work
Yes,
like
aye.
that. You need continuity. You understand? So
Unity
everybody
and
have
strength.
talent, and so you always have to have somebody. You must see somebody in place that you can train in case if you get down, everything stop. Then the ball, the wheel don't stop. You got to keep oiling it, and the
Yes,
information
aye.
have to keep
And
passing on and on and on and on.
yes, aye.
That's the stuff,
Banking
and
that too.
it's
Yes, aye. Banking that too. Not
yes,
to cut you off. Also, within these 3 years as well, as we coming up to
yes,
our anniversary, we also will be holding elections as well. You know, so we're
okay,
inviting people out there who want to be a part of higher heights to, come forward and, we're here to serve the people. You know what I mean? Emperor Haile Selassie the first. He sent us here on a mission. And the mission got to continue, and is to serve the people and make sure they're in goodwill. Really high.
That's right. It's all about unity and strength, hopefulness, togetherness. That's our motivation towards the people. Also within striving more on the aspect right now of dealing with the youth. Right now the youth them is the future. So we have to look forward to the youth them and make sure we nurture the minds of the youth. Because we cannot let the system come forward and grab our youths. I and I right now, this day, we have to take that step and make sure our youth them in the right mindset. That when they step in the system, they know that where they step in is the right step and the right way. Not caught up in the system. Blessed.
Yes, I. Yes, I. I would like to make an interjection here still, Banky and Virgin still,
mm-hmm.
Yason.
Yeah, man.
I will still have to give enough respect to the Virgin them, see me still, for even witnessing them and their contribution to the OIU meeting that we just had here in St. Kitts. It was done by me, and it was a real strong meeting because for first time in a long time, I see Nevis represent with this new group, as we will say still, but still not really new because they would have come from another time still, and to see how they're holding it so strong still, and continuing in the energy, and being able to even be part of the meeting and make such a heavy contribution was a blessing still for Iman to witness still. And I hope that it is not a one-time thing to come to the meeting because we need the strength in OIU. We do take individual membership to Banky, and even Yason, even if you're on the internet, you still could
Aye.
participate, because I see a lot of things that really happening with OIU, even though it seems like sometimes not much going on. Sometimes there's many things going on, because even chatting with OIU, are able to get to a move down Antigua, even with a paid, I get the opportunity to perform, get a little vibes, and still get a free plane ticket, and then where they still, because of the linkages, and it's years man with OIU and CRO and all these organizations, and that don't happen regularly still. So it's like, man, give thanks still for even CRO, Caribbean Rastafari organization. It's good to be individuals still, because I'm not trying to take away the individualistic. ways, because sometimes you could even move more mountains moving by yourself. That's just the reality, because you know your thoughts and you know your direction, and it's easier because within groups there's a lot of conflicts and energies, you know. But grouping is still always good. Even if it's one group you got to be part of, because the more wise mind around I and the respecting one another wiseness, we can use it for our benefit. And sometimes what we do, we argue on points because everybody have a different belief system. I'm not saying don't deal with those reasoning, but we have to also look for the points where we collective together and respect one another
Right.
belief. I said that they happen. I see the maturity of I as Rasta meeting, no argument and them thing there, and everything went down smooth. And I feel like that to me, not just how we meeting, but even the meeting we came from in Antigua. I see there's a growth within Rasta. No whole heap of argument, nothing, and we meeting went down smooth. Back in the days in the 90s and 2000, it never used to be like that. It's usually a lot of fire. You see it with one another back and forth disagreement. But now we're trying to overstand that this is more than just a one-man thing, and all of us have a role to play, because all of us have different talents. We really check it out. All of us have different talents. We are a nation within a nation. And sometimes, to me, we should be pushing more for the nation within a nation than trying to link up with the politicians. Because I'm gonna be honest, even if a man want to go into politics, is he? But he mightn't get the following of all the Rasta, because we have a different belief system from in the past. But he will get the following of some. You see it? But if we try to run as a nation within a nation, and our leaders then rule within the nation, like be the president, be the vice president, be whatever, and we give them their authority, and that's the way we should go forward, in my personal opinion. But I just feel like we mature a lot. So even if I want to decide, like Banky might want to go on for politics, and I them might want to go on for politics, we have to support them. But Banky can't vex with me if me decide that me not really want to be in that either. But I will support certain things because all I is Rasta. You see what I say? And these are
Right.
things that we should be talk about regardless, and don't feel no, because me not got no bad feeling towards Banky. Because he's a great youth, and if that's his calling, that's his calling, but that mightn't be my calling. So then I can't war him just for a simple thing like that. Sometimes I think that we don't really get to express ourselves. A lot of times, when we try to put our belief, if somebody is against it, it'll end up be an argument, and we'll run from it. So I think right now we should be able to speak how we feel towards one another, but always know that we're supposed to be brethren for life in a technical sense,
Respect.
because it's not warring against you as a person. It's just how I believe things and how another person. I just give an example like that, a real life example like that. You see, but there's many other little things that we have that they create so many problems. Who believe in the Bible, who don't believe in the Bible, and they create these big tug of wars, and we need to move from that. Yeah, we need to move from that.
Yes,
Yes.
I give thanks. I give
Work for
thanks
the,
for you
work for
to.
the people. Work for the people now, man.
Yes, I was saying I give thanks that you brought that meditation to the fore, and for those of you who do listen to this platform and listen to Banky and myself, would note that exactly what you're saying, Sankofa, is what we seek to preach and practice from this platform. Because ideally, as you speak, even though me and Banky are brethren, even here on this platform, we don't agree on everything. We would have discussions here on this platform, and Banky may have a point, and I will have a point, and I stick to my point, and Banky stick to his point. And we have that debate and discussion because we want to show the youths as well that you should be able to disagree to agree and come
To
back.
agree.
And if anything else,
Yes,
that's how I grew up that's how I grew up in terms of reasoning with the elders as well. Because when we used to have what is called a reasoning, You know what I mean? It would be a reasoning, and you would have some heated discussions, and somebody gonna hold on to the point until the next time you meet up again. You might have gone and do a little research and find out something and say, okay, well, no, you come back and you come hit that point now and say, okay, well, the last time we were reasoning, we said this, but I find out this, and right? So, and even to be practical with your point, with Banky know my position as well. I mean, he's running for politics, and as you said, I would support him. You know what I mean? But me personally wouldn't do it. But that is his position, and as brethren, you know what I mean, I will give him his support and rally behind him. But you know, so there's no need for us to disagree or be vexed with one another because of that. And we have shared this. What I'm saying here now to you is what I've shared with Banky publicly and to the nation publicly, because we would have had these discussions here open and public. And so I feel that because within Rastafari, we need to be able to overlook sometimes the little differences and look at the bigger goal. And I think even from Haile Selassie's perspective, I think that is what Haile Selassie was teaching when he went into the speech about the difference between religion and spirituality. And I like to use the example of like spirituality is like the mountain, like the top of the mountain. And the objective is to get to the top of the mountain. So if a man use a helicopter to get to the top of the mountain, a man walk go up there, a man drive a jeep go up there, a man use a zip line, you know what I mean, to get up there. The objective is to get up there. So if his Christianity get him there,
yes.
if it's Islam get him there, if it's Rastafari get him there, well, the objective is to get there, because when he get there now, he will be able to see, like I see, that it doesn't matter necessarily what religion or practice you may have. The reality is we are one blood. We're supposed to be all religions deal with love and unity. So if you really practice what the religion is supposed to deal with, you're supposed to find spirituality. So within that, I just love and respect people for their different practices and beliefs. I might not do what you believe in, but I want to learn enough that I don't disrespect you when you're dealing with it. You know what I mean? And vice versa. You hold your corner to and give me, you know what I mean, my respect with what I deal with. And so, yes, we do need to have this level of discussion and get to this level of maturity. And so, Sankofa, you know, within your utterances, I'm really happy and feel proud to know that, you know, Rastafari, the Rastafari community, and St. Kitts and Nevis is getting to that level. And also we're seeing it on a regional scale, as you mentioned, you know, with the visit to Antigua, that you would have seen that sort of connectivity. Now, I think as you speak about Antigua, that connectivity within Rastafari is so much in demonstration that I think the Rastafari community, which comprises of almost all of the different houses, have gotten the attention of the government to the point where they were given excavator and other tools and all of that to cultivate. Is it cannabis alone, or is also the develop the agricultural sector on a whole? I don't know if you can speak to that. You're on mute. I think you're on mute or silent, Sankofa.
Yeah, blessings, Rastafari. It's basically it was given to the Big Creek, Nyabingi, and RFUR, which is the Rastafari Foundation for the Unity of Rastafari. And then them two organizations there is who that was donated to, and it's to do any kind of agriculture work, including cannabis, CMS still. And they also have a tractor too. But the tractor itself, most of the tractor was paid off by the organization themselves amongst each other, CMS still. Over by Big Creek area have a school, but like up to sixth grade, but he ain't really fully active because most of the person who started in that school, they done finish up to sixth grade, and they didn't have a lot of younger ones coming forward. Like the community wasn't really sending their children, so it was mainly Rasta, and some Rastas wasn't even sending they use them same still. So it's a temporary closure because also too the couple children that was there, they end up had to go into a private school, another school, because they wanted these teachers them to be more trained. The head teacher was well trained, but some of the other sisters then wasn't fully trained. So now some of them gone for training, and then they're going to reopen the school soon again. So they have their works that go on. They have a lot of cannabis works that go on in Antigua. And what we have to understand, the prime minister in Antigua was actually after his parents died. One of his parents died. He actually dwelled with Rasta. Rasta take care of him for a while still. So it's like he have that love towards genuine kind of energy towards I and I. So he don't have that kind of fear like another man would have really to deal with the rest of them because they was there for him when he needed it the most. So it's a personal thing. So we don't have that connection. So while we have to fight for
Well,
everything, we get
hold on.
thing, we actually have man who's against this thing.
Hold on. In St. Kitts and Nevis, we have even a closer case. The Prime Minister's mother is Rastafari. So what's going on here? Because you're talking about one parent was missing and he was raised by Rastafari for a certain amount of time, so he have that sort of connection, and he's doing that for Rastafari community. But we have a Prime Minister whose mother is Rastafari. So I just wanted to interject that in between so you could still continue with your train of thought as we continue.
Yeah, but the difference between that, not to disrespect Dr. Jew, because I would never try to do that there, but the reality of the situation, Dr. Jew have his cabinet is split with the herb. So the reality of the situation is, and there's certain ministers in the cabinet that carry a lot of power still. And when you have that level of, I wouldn't really call it just a division,
So,
but we're
so in
even a
Antigua is a full support with Gaston Brown
pretty
cabinet
much,
with the herb.
pretty
Huh?
much
I got
because of the
you.
respect that they have for Gaston. So him are the leader.
Yes.
You see it? Now
Yes.
here now we have a situation where our brethren
Or here is
really
a free.
would be a good
I got
leader
you.
if he had more support from even his full cabinet, and they know that's a reality. It's just for them to internally work on that and give the herb the real support that he need. Because if we don't really, for the herb, it's gonna show by the things that you say and the things that you do. You're gonna can't hide it. And from since 2019, the judge put out the judgment, and we're in 2025. You see it? That's 6 years.
Okay.
And nothing go on in a technical sense. They just open up the building, but they ain't even get into one or two applications. The fees them is too high. Secondly, to ask for us, any person in their home, to have to ask permission, even especially Rasta, to go any trees and pay any money for any license to go any trees is still going to be going against their rights to privacy. So they're saying the 5 trees in your yard, you have to really ask question. We could never accept that, because if we accept that, we will nullifying the court order. So then we're going to be illegal against the Constitution now because the court don't decide something. So we cannot say, like for example, if somebody don't want a license and they just want to go 5 trees in the yard, you shouldn't have to register nothing. They go the 5 tree. That's what the judge say. A banker send you the judgment of the judge, the declarations he make and how he show them how to fix certain things. And it's
Yeah,
clear that's why.
but me see this all the time. But me talk this all the time that herb is legal long time because the constitution that our wise men them wrote since 1983 give every citizen, not Rasta, the right to use anything for their sacrament. As in, you understand? And for these are the constitution engraved in a brethren. So our system itself, because of people belief system and this Christian system that people feel like this is how the personal feelings, they throw it on you. You see what I mean?
Yes.
And they know these things are wrong. That's why I say reparation for all the wrong that been thrown upon me. And they look down and then this can and they be friendly now. Well, me not foolish. So me know me every time I come off and boat, you want to search me. And me jump on a bus. It's like, as you see me, I see a herb. Well, if you fight herb, you fight the creator. So me not the problem with that. Because that's already my thing. Because me a different herb all the time. So my thing is, me not need no judge these guys with the nonsense born to own so weed because the constitution don't state everything in place. They just gotta come with you can't go tell you got me about 2 ounces of weed. But it's 2 ounces of weed, virgin. If I want got 1,000 pounds of weed, I got 1,000 pounds of weed in my place. Yes, I got things to do with the herb. It's just that we got 1,000 pounds of source of a melon man a farmer. As some man say things, not because you have your belief system. You're talking about belief system, you know. But we're talking about rights. We're not talking about belief system, we're talking about rights. You see? These are my human rights that the creator gave every man. Because we can't plant, you are going to fight, go push the same herb you fight. But you're not push the same food. Where you don't get money from to plant the herb. Where you get land to plant the same herb. And you not push food. Yeah. All of a sudden you find land that a man want a 1/4 acre land. They can't find the land, no land there. But you find hundreds of acres to give people to plant herb. But we don't eat all the herb. Yeah, it's medicinal too, but it need banana, it need sweet potato. You see what I mean? It need everything else too. And you need resources. Because number one, I hear nobody say, well, we have put $500 million in a development bank. So if man like a young females want to take part in the cannabis industry and training and all these things, they can get access to $500,000 as grants and whatever to help with the startup. And a man like Sankofa can get a $5 million where can go and buy some land and secure for his youths and them down the road 1,000 years later and secure his family. And that's the kind of energy we want to hear. Because if you could spend $50 million and build a road and you tax me, well, you could build 55,000 houses for free too. At the same concept, you know. So not try 4 million, me can't work out the equation there. It's the same concept. Yeah, that's why. Are you same concept, Virgin? Because you take me money from Social Security, build 1,000 houses, and then I charge me for the house. That make no sense. Yeah. That make no sense. Put on $2 per water the on your water then. A free house in its car, Virgin. We are being canned. I keep saying this thing over and over. Why would Sankofa your daughter want to go into processing cannabis oil and have to find $100,000? Are the same thing me I say? A madness.
You know, makes sense for
all these people say money. This is not designed for the own local people, brethren. And 1 minute $25,000 for a license for to go move me home out of my yard to cross the street in the next yard far. Well, me can't walk me home in my car too. I have a brethren who got a truck, a bus and jumping by the bus. What these people talking about? Well, how they come wise than everybody else? We not work with that. We are proposing all in things them. That's what me push forward, you know. Cause I know me not done with the nonsense there, you know. This one feed from day one. Herb is legal. And all who fight against herb fight against the creator, and that's all make up to say about that.
So the question bank is what we're gonna do because they done trying to set this thing in order.
Look at them try though. Go back to the drawing board. Go back to the drawing board.
Hold a second. I think Sankofa, I think Reggie wanted to get in. So let's give Reggie a chance to squeeze in something here.
Okay.
Well, what I feel is that taken from the ORU meeting is something I want to put forward because hearing what the item were talking about and especially like with the Ganja Commission and stuff like that, I feel like Rasta weak in the position there. I don't know how much people on the board, but once you got just 2 Rasta on top the board and then you got everybody else who fight against the herb, there is no way. There is no way wherever Rasta put you for please the Rastas, the people who smoke herb or deal with herb or don't get lock up for herb. It not gonna work.
Well,
because
you see, okay.
Because they don't keep voting. We only get what 2 votes. Why is it only 2 Rasta? depend the commission. I feel like it should have been
Well,
more, half and half or
okay,
something.
Reggie, it
Yes, I.
wouldn't really work because of what the board itself is all about. So what they're seeking to do is to have a wide cross section of the community, and that is why you would find the board don't just have Rasta, not just government officials, but they have people from the police, custom, different areas and aspect because of the fact that what they have set up is the Medicinal Cannabis Authority, and this is where I am seeking to go right now because one of the things that we have an issue with is that we are caught up with this Medical Cannabis Authority side of things when the reality is the recreational what they call personal use and religious or sacramental use of cannabis is under a whole different ministry. So that is under the ecclesiastic affairs. Now, part of my issue is I have never heard anything from that minister that deals with that aspect. The medical cannabis is the only part of agriculture that is under agriculture, So cannabis is actually separated in St. Kitts and Nevis. So the Medical Cannabis Authority and the medical cannabis is under agriculture, and that is what the Minister of Agriculture is responsible for. The recreational side and the spiritual side, that is under Minister of Ecclesiastic Affairs, who happens to be headed by Mr. Jeffrey Hanley at this time. I've never heard Mr. Jeffrey Hanley say anything about cannabis. Never. And another question I have.
Who represent the church?
Well, that is the Ecclesiastic Affairs. That Ecclesiastic Affairs represent the church. No, the question I had to that was in Nevis, if there is a representative for that ministry and Nevis, because if in terms of Nevis, in relation to recreational or personal use and spiritual, if they would also just have to apply to the federal minister, since there's not a ecclesiastic minister and Nevis, so to speak. So I don't know if Sankofa or anybody could respond or answer to that.
Yeah. The key medical officer.
What was the question there again?
The second part is the second part is okay. You know that the recreational and spiritual is under ecclesiastic affairs. There is a federal minister of ecclesiastic affairs, but there is no. I am not certain of any representative from the Nevis side for that ministry. So in relation to that side, who would the Nevisians go to in relation to getting the license for the 26 grams and the 56 grams and the 5 trees and all that, because these are under the Ministry of Ecclesiastic Affairs, but there's no Ministry of Ecclesiastic Affairs and Nevis. So I'm trying to find out if there's a representative or if in the case of Nevis that they would have to apply to the federal ministry, which is Mr. Jeffrey Hanley, to deal with that aspect. So if you are clear on that, if you have any idea in relation to that. You on pause. You mute. You mute.
You're blessed. I think, and most of the pamphlet that they gave for the different dealing with the herb, I think most of it was under the medical cannabis situation. But as you say, it's two separate ministries, one that would deal with it on the spiritual level, and the other one that would deal with it and the medicinal aspect of it. But then the judgment of the judge, they try to fall in between there. And I guess that they will still fall under religion, but they have still the privacy rights to deal with still. So I don't know where they can actually fall, but as you say, it's two ministries dealing with it. as you say, Jeffrey handled them into no herb smoking. That's why you're not hearing represent in that level. Them are not into no herb smoking. Although if they was into herb smoking, they would never let it as a religion and head of a area where the judge ordered that you allow people to have the herb them. You think they would allow people to lock up people after for herbs? It's moratorium from since 2000 from since 2019 there wasn't they just put a moratorium, and after that the government put a moratorium, and then even this government had a moratorium going on, and then all of a sudden, because now they're coming out with the drug act, they're trying to make back from home. Because if you have to pay for $1,500 for a license, and in certain instances even more than that, dear, and then you still have to pay for having the area for plant the herb, whether it's an acre, 2 acres, or whatever, and then you still have to pay if get you with herb even without a license. It's like the system making gone now into making back money again off a herb when we know is still making a lot of money because we have to struggle now because we got to still be hiding on them things here. So how fair that gonna be to the people? The general public who get beat down for the herb. So my opinion is I can't answer your question about who's responsible for the herb. You see it? I'm gonna be honest with that because I don't know how the chain of line go and who's in that order there in the ecclesiastics. We just under the offices in St. Kitts and they represent the 2 islands or whatever. But what I'm saying is that we ain't supposed to have to ask them man for certain things. But they set it up where we have to ask them for that permission. And in doing it that way, they nullify the order of the court in a technical sense. And that's what Judah I been saying for a while, and that's what other people been saying, as Banky say, he been saying it same still. So now the government have to take responsibility for that earlier because it's not being fruitful towards the order of the court. You see, so we have to, there's different ways you could rally against this. You could actually set a class action suit against the government, whether you're going to proceed with it or not. But it will be directly a very scary tactic for them to have to deal with it because there's so many people from 2012 and forward that really went through something with the herb and then with the order of the court. It was wrong, so they really drew reparations that were bankrupt with government. So they might have to just decide that they have to follow the order of the judge. To me, the problem with the order of the judge too is that there's other governments that might have greater influence on these governments. Don't really ready for the herb to
No,
be legal.
you have to back up. You have to back up. If anybody infringing on the citizens' rights, that's a no-no. They gotta pay.
Yeah, that's the order of the judge. But these man
so when I brought up this thing, yeah. So if the Prime Minister know these things are wrong and the what the tall boy name for the legal what his name? Yes, help me out there. God Wilkin now these things are wrong. And all the scholars them want to know these things are still wrong. Me no want to butt up nothing in a brethren because we not pretend this thing, This is a different generation, yeah. We not accept these things, yeah. So
we not
accept these things, yeah. So if the chairman of the board know these things are wrong. You understand? Because this is not a butt up thing in a virgin. Because since I left school, my locks don't drop on the ground till me have to fix up my thing. You understand? I'm a youth no like this. So me don't go through it. Me not butter it up. Me don't know man get gun butter and that kind of thing. And bars get squeezed up, make them nut and that kind of thing. You hear me? Me not forget these life for man don't go through. So me not butter it up. Reparation, so they still infringing my constitutional right. And me know that. You see?
Yeah,
so not even the seed is illegal in the virgin, and I'm charge you for seed, Not even the seed is illegal, Nothing is illegal, Because even man in the drug squad know this thing and tell me so. I mean, I can't have to tell me that. Me work with the constitution in a virgin, and me know me is a free man, so I need people to tell me is a free man, Me know me free from says me, but me ban. Me know that. That's a part of my human right to know that I'm free. Because as me know, all these laws are illegal, Yes, they know that. You understand, your son? Seed is not illegal, but they want to control the seed and charge. Me don't get charged big money for seed. How can something not be illegal, but you just say me a smuggle? Me not smuggle what is not illegal. You see? These are what they do man all the time.
So Banky, this is what I'm saying. This is why I'm saying that a part of what these discussions are about is in terms of how do we fix some of these things that should not have even been a problem in the first instance. Because here is it. We are here saying that St. Kitts and Nevis is 2000.
Change the system. Change all the sides of these parties and bring a brand new fourth system, Virgin. When you want change, you change them. Who you see now work with us, you know. And if you have to do things to say, you rise up. That's what I talk about all the time. Rise up, my people. Rise up. Because if them are canos and you still a jump ship where they go a blue, a yellow, a to green, a to same thing. They might drink out of the same cup. They not speak with language. They might take up with money and with land and with sources that get out to other people because they make money through laws and, you know what I mean, lie and different whoever, who are part of them alliance. We're not part of them alliance. We're not part of them belief system, that structure with the brotherhood and the sisterhood thing. So why would they care about us? We care amongst ourselves because we are own ourselves. They're not part of we things. So the business about us, what they say are money, dead people from paper. You see? That's what they worship.
Yeah, but even that, we are kind of boxed out of the money unless we are a part of a group or an organization. And these are some of the things that are you know, left.
You have the back to the group, yeah, son. If you come together as one, because you have the same, you see this. No. Once you want to do this the right thing, you know. Okay, we can come to the same agreement that those we put there to lead us are not doing the right thing. If you can fix a road for $50 million, yes, son, you can't build 5,000 houses for free and give people them who don't have it. Explain the difference to me with that. Nobody can explain the between. At the same thing, brethren. If you could waste millions of dollars, go drill a well and nothing come out to the water or to the well that you drill and move on to a more well and just plug it. Well, who come all and cast it? Well, the more tangible you build houses that equate to this money that you just wasted and give it to single parents and you understand and do all kind of other stuff. You don't have to be charging your people this money for these things. You don't have to.
Build the people, man.
These are the reality, brethren.
Yes.
So why can't people see these things? It's just, these are simple common sense, brethren. Simple common sense. Just to give you double salary. I treat you like you give free money. They're not giving free money. Your money be all the time. They're just teasing you because these are things they just woke up with and plan it. But you don't have to pay a light bill, nothing. Because you things they be. you pay for your own things that belongs to you. That thing that make any sense? It's too obvious, because and you cannot take out the glasses off my eyes because you can't change it because we don't see it. So that they can't change, you know. Once you think what it is, that's what it is, you can't turn back, you know. That's the beauty about it. They could carry it with a word, but it's a can.
The system
yes.
The system done set to keep us down. We take it out. Because in the same scenario, not to join from the herb still, even with land, you know what I mean? This is where they trick us. They sell you a piece of land and they still taxing you for the same land. So they still making money back off the same land while they sell you. You check? So the system, but as just I said, we gotta find a way to fight this so it could benefit us as a people and as Rastafari.
We have to do what His Majesty said to us, organizing unity as the foundation, oneness, togetherness. Without that togetherness and that oneness, we won't strive to what we want to be. And that is a very vital energy within I and I. That's vital energy to come together as one. And everything will go just the way it's supposed to. Just the oneness road. His Majesty don't set the trend in our higher. He don't set the motion for us. All we have to do is step in the energy of it and make it happen.
So Sankova, so we are we seeing a next March coming up anytime soon?
Well, I would leave that there for the OIU to decide still, because it's there being as an organization. You see it, is the OIU make that decision, and you know, man, we still have to leave that there up to OIU as a decision based still. But there's a possibility there for sure, based on how the people them react. But the people them still reacting without understanding the fullness of what happens still, eh? And I think I will just take a 5 minute, 3 minutes to just lay it out what happened really. When the system call us, they want a man to appear and express certain things, and I tell them I can't feel comfortable going up there expressing any concern when how they're still actually taking up man home and wherever. So I wouldn't give no kind of discussion on that there. I ain't gonna, and then I get another call. They say that they're gonna be giving us. It was a text. They was gonna be giving us a package. But even before that, I did get a call saying that they was gonna be giving some licensing and what's not. So we should come through to the event. So we went through to the event. I wasn't gonna really take anything either, because I didn't really want to be in the picture with them and either, because I just didn't feel good how the Attorney General was moving with certain things still, the reality. And even though he might have tried to act like, he was trying to do it for the cause of I still, in the reality, he set something in place that defect the judge ruling still. So man wasn't pleased with everything, and then so I decided I ain't gonna really participate in anything. So Ira say he would have representing that. I mean, Elder Ira say he would have represent for INI group. We gave 3 packages: one to Gideon, one to Spax, and one to OIU. But the reality inside the packages wasn't licensed. It was basically dealing with application for licensing. And they did make a declaration that our license for Rasta will be free and what's not. No, I wouldn't fight against that because I'm a member of a group. I wouldn't want to say because I have a personal thought. I gonna try to force it upon my members and tell them no go for no license and let me stand for me in certain things or wherever. When in reality, we been there all the time. My thing was that we don't be the only one to get a license. Try to get other groups involved and what's not. You know? So, but the whole key thing is that the man said for any medical, it would be organic. So we in a good position. A lot of other men now will have to change over to the way that they plant, and if they want to serve that industry, they're still, But my thing is not just to serve a medicinal industry, because most of us use herb holistically. So then we can't just do a little regular holistic thing that could end up being illegal. How them gonna set up CMS still too, because it's not done by a medical practitioner or somebody who know how to mix the thing. So we can't agree to a lot of the things them that them man have established. So it's like in all them things there, we have to always disagree, because we have to put our belief system and our principle for the cannabis. I think the best way to deal with the herb is to allow for, even if you just want to do, say, adult use, but have it for as a free. Legalization, we can't go, we would accept certain things because based on certain things, but it's a form of compromise in a sense still. The ultimate goal is for that. And once you do that, then you give every free citizen a right to deal with the herb. You don't have to tax everything. Only tax what you know. People trying to deal with it as an economic base like to say, as a business, then possible you might have to put a tax because all businesses are taxing the system. But if a man just doing it for a little personal energy or whatever, and just to deal with something where he's not really an income base, just leave him alone. Allow him. You see what I'm saying? That's how I see. It's just like any other plant, as Banky would say. You see it? And that's how Rasta view all the time. So for people to say that we will be selling out to the system, they don't really know us. And they're not in the circle with us. They only hear him because they might have see a picture of Rastaman taking something from the system and they condemn the situation.
But
But they don't understand it.
Sankofa, and
Yeah.
I think this is part of why people may have that view or impression, and I think that is what I was trying to clarify here, because a lot of us say will be the way it is because it is coming through a medical cannabis authority, and from it is coming from the medical cannabis side. Under that side, there's certain expectations and certain regulations that have to be followed according to that guideline. The problem that I am having is that the areas that should be of major concern to the Rastafari really would have been the area of personal use, which is what may be considered recreational, and the religious or spiritual side of things. And that falls under a whole other industry and ministry. So I'm wondering if we are not, if the Rastafari community is kind of not dropping the ball in terms of really addressing where and who they really should be addressing in terms of dealing with the issue, and not getting trapped into what the system is seeking to get them trapped into. Because the medical side, for example, as you talk about the 5 trees and so on, the license for the 5 trees is not under the medical side. The license that you should get, which you as you said, we shouldn't even have to get that, because everybody should be entitled to that. But and the 56 grams for you to carry, and I'm not sure what other licenses are under that category. But that's the area that you will have to go to deal with that. But that is not even in the discussion. So when we Rastafari something getting blame under what is happening, is because I'm not certain if Rastafari is not trapped into what is being pushed in terms of the medical side of things.
Yes, son. Let me get some of the messages and stuff like that from the viewers and stuff like that. You wanna read up on some of those? Some of the inputs?
Because the space has been kind of hot this evening.
Yes.
You know, a lot of people were, you know, in and on the platform. So we have Icon Fire saying respect of our sons. Icon Fire says, I think Rastafari community should agitate for the rights to give licenses to whoever want to plant the weed, so financial income is guaranteed. Bubba Love saying, how could Rastafari fight for the rights of everyone, and when they were facing persecution, they were the only ones marching? Bulby Jones says, great point. Should the rest of them have been in majority on the commission? Okay. Bubba again saying the Pope will never free up the herb. Jah will never give word to a bald head. All of them done crucify the dread for the same herb. It's a rebel. Bobby Jones saying the system is a vampire. But Marley said that. That march should be now to voice any disagreements and disappointments with the rollout of the Marijuana Commission office and the fees or anything else in disagreement with. Buba says, no matter what we do, herb is naturally medicinal. Why are they trying to separate its values and still say only at a certain age group for usage? That's not medicinal, that's business. Bevan Taylor says, blessed to all, manly here. That's Dabo.
Yes, I.
Okay, so that's
Big up
Dabo
Manly.
Manly. In terms of the Facebook, let's see what's happening on the Facebook feed. That was the YouTube link. On the Facebook feed, let's see what people are saying over on that side before we get back to the panels. Okay, we have Ras Iba from Westbury. Somebody was asking if it's Ras Iba from Westbury. Somebody says, Carmen said good night. SKN Nevis Time says, PM Jews cannabis license fees spark outrage. Astafan demands cannabis licenses to be free for all locals. Slams Jews fee structure as exploitative. Says foreigners must be barred from the industry. Okay, that's an article I guess they post in here.
Yeah, man,
but
100%
yeah, so
natives.
That's basically the comments that we have here so far. I don't know if anybody want to respond to that as we are getting closer to winding up.
Yes. I don't think there are different ways. I mean, as we just mentioned, it, whether it will be a march or a signed petition to show that the masses aim for these things and whatever. And because as remember, as the person was saying, you realize they also, well, we met these things and you saying they're making everything political and whatever. But if you come in and make something that is not right, you can change it. Because if you know these things are put in place by the judge and give you all these things, but you just, and you can say, yes, and everything makes no sense why there's the minister in Navy is not her, the minister in charge of ecclesiastic not say nothing. Because people holding, you have to separate what you believe. Because you believe, well, Google believe, not ever believe me, no?
Believe.
Because me know understand these things, yeah. You see what I mean? Because you believe in the things that you know nothing about. That's what you don't know. But you fight it.
Yeah, but you see, believing is one thing, Banky. Believing is one thing, but reality is another thing, because here is it. Whether they believe in it or not, here's the reality. The cabinets in the past, based on the Sankofa case, would have been forced to go in the house to pass some laws and regulations where cannabis is concerned. They already passed. They already on the books. Here is the dilemma, and this is where what Sankofa spoke to a while ago was critical in terms of the moratorium, because a moratorium is quite important, because here is it. According to the regulations, you should have that license for the 56 grams. You should have that license for the 5 trees. But at this point, the government who should be issuing those licenses are not ready. So if you go right now to apply for such license, you cannot get it, and not because you ain't got the money to pay for it, not because you ain't want it, but because they are not in a position to issue it. So then if they are not in a position to issue it, and it is legal for me to do it, why you still want to lock me up or send out police to be harassing me for something that should be legal? So this is why I'm saying a moratorium, and in terms of educating the police and the customs and all of these people who are in place, because as you talk about there, if you're going to create a cannabis industry, if you're going to create a cannabis industry, how could you still have issues with bringing in seed? Well, how am I going to start to plant anything if I can't bring in seed? So if you're still telling me, because I remember asking the question on Nevis' side, so I could speak to Nevis, they said that cannabis seed is still illegal to bring in. So if you're telling me the industry is legal, how is it legal for me to start and operate in an industry and I can't even import the seeds to start the plants that I'm going to be cultivating and processing and doing whatever? So these things need to be addressed.
Someone here saying that we should vote for signed petition, also against all that was suggested when it comes to the licensing and all this different stuff and the cost, and also online signature as well, where as much people can be a part of these to have a lot more to say when it comes to the petition, because it shows the people is very upset about all of these things.
I strongly agree with that. I strongly agree with the petition.
Yes.
It's probably something that we should run. The people for SKN Times is asking for our views on the article. The article speaks to a comment that was made by Dwyer Astafan on the program when Miss Jean Williams Knight was on Freedom in relation to his views on the cannabis licensing issue. And in a nutshell, in a summary, his argument is that in terms of the cannabis license, what the government should have done was not give license to any foreigners for at least, say, the first 5 years, and limit licenses to only local people.
Never, ever. We have enough locals to go home. No foreigners at all, natives only.
And he was saying also that those licenses for the locals should be free. And that was his view and opinion. So for those of you, if you want to, you could probably go back and listen to, I think it was last week, Friday. I'm not sure what day it was though.
Friday.
They were on
and golden.
Friday. Okay, that the program was on, and that was one of the Guy Astafan called in, and that was part of his presentation on the topic. These are things, but I am not certain how much of this was done in terms of consultation with the public.
But why would Dwyer and them want people from outside to come in here to come go herb? Why is that needed?
He said they shouldn't. They shouldn't. That is what he's saying.
Come inside.
He's saying that they should not. They should not. Yeah, the government should not allow them to come for at least for the first 5 years. You're saying at least.
No. And not in between. That's the whole point. He for them to come. Period. Never, ever. That's what I say all the time. But that his opinion, I mean, I have a problem with that. You see what I'm saying?
Right. So
I'm protecting the locals. I don't have. Me not look like a that. Anybody looking at it, bringing in people, me not for that. Period. Man, whether it's 10 years or 1,000 years, never, ever. Certain things are just designed to be niche to protect your people, brethren. That's just the reality. Your most important resources is your people and your land and your rainfall and your trees. You don't give them to people. So when you bring in people 10 years later, where they going to want land from? Then I want you to see them land. Then where your people going to want 10 years later?
For your argument to hold, right? That would have been if they were seeking to push it on the premise of maybe say religious personal use or you know what I mean, recreational use.
No.
Can
we put it in the same way?
They're pushing medicinal. No, but medicinal is a global business. And if they're pushing medicine, and that's what I'm saying, we have to understand. We have to understand where we were going when we are supporting the government. When we are supporting the government and the medical cannabis agenda, because that agenda
local to grow it, for local to grow it, for local to own it, for locals to own it and do everything about it, transport it, extract it, grow it, everything. No indigenous people own it.
And then what? You're gonna be selling, and then you're gonna just be selling to Sinkis and Nevis people.
You export it. So you're telling me our natives can grow something that can be exported on an international market? That's what you're telling me? Me try to understand that.
No,
that's the whole point. That's the whole point. So why we can't control the market then? Well, that's the whole point. So if we can do it, well, keep it niche for us. That's all it is. It's not a debate about it, to run around it. That's all. We're hard in that. I understand this thing. Virgin, that's the only way. Any other way about these things, you know?
We're hiding it. Yeah. Let me tell you what happened.
But in reality, right, to the government, I would like to just dip in a little bit. The government ain't really for the hub. Them are not going to invest no money into like a national hub thing where you're talking where they could control their own industry. They just ain't going to do it, Banky. But we can do
If you not put
something
the money in
similar as
agriculture,
Rasta.
you,
Try to get an
you
industry, like something, where we could actually do it in bulk and make certain oils and certain medicines. And I think eventually, with our little knowledge, and even if you send out one or two men to be, to get certain education with certain things, just to make certain things legalized, we can come up with a lot of products, because we already have certain products from different people. Because when we have our organic market, which I want to give a plug in the organic market before I leave still. I might take the time now, Banky, to do it. We have an organic
Yeah, man, go
man, do
market
your
ahead,
on
go
the
thing.
ahead.
11th. Yeah, which is Sunday. This Sunday coming up is our organic market. And it's just basically the same idea, having a one or two presentation. And for this one is about Victory Day, when His Majesty defeated the Italians in 1941 on May 5th. But we're actually having on May 11th, which happens to
Yes,
be
I.
these people Mother Day. So
Sorry
we
about that.
definitely inviting. Yes, I? Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
just
it's
want to say
important
sorry
for
about that. We
us.
just had a little data issue.
What you say, Brethren?
I was just saying sorry about that. We just had a little data issue.
Okay,
No
because
problem.
the
Safe.
eyes stick a
I
little
got
bit
you.
still. But I was just showing the item
Yeah.
still that we having the event this Sunday down by Gideon from about 2 o'clock until about 9 p.m. A kind of 7 hour session, not as long as the bridging them, but it's an organic market, a similar setup, CMS still, where we have the different vendors. We have at least 11 vendors, and we have booths for them that set up on the farm already, still kind of permanent. And then we have a couple other areas where we put in tent. And hopefully we try to put up a stage. We get a one or two assistants CMS still, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to work this organic market as a victory day celebration still. Just like I said earlier, the defeat of the Italians by the Ethiopians in 1941 when His Majesty came back, and he said, let us celebrate in the heights of the Messiah. Let us not reward evil for evil. You see it? Yeah. He said to just take away the weapons from the enemy and send them back home. And he even said for those who want to stay, we have to still, be good to them in a technical form. So it's like these are the mercy that His Majesty bring forward. So all these things will be celebrated. They'll be reading of the speech that he made for May 5th. And we usually read some of that speech, if not all of it. And we always have a one or two persons giving a speech as well too. And we also have a little musical entertainment in between, one or two speeches on agriculture, same as still. And that's how we run that program there. And because it's them and the timing still, as the mothers they think, I think we're gonna push more female energy, even within the artists, them is gonna be this time probably more female than male, and it's not gonna be much artists, but still enough, and most of them gonna be female artists and one or two male artists, same as still not a lot of artists, but more reasoning and educational. We might make a little presentation of a video towards either the war in Ethiopia, the victory celebration, or even just have something concerning agriculture, because it's always an agricultural event. Um, I'm going to send you the flyers, then Banky, so you can plug it on another program. But we have some
No
flyers,
problem.
but I
That's
didn't get a chance to sell it to Bank. I think I sell it to Banky on the phone. So whenever you get a chance, you could just try to
well. I
get
did.
to.
Well, I did. I did. Yeah, the
Yeah, you
posters. I
did
did
get
talk about the posters and the
the
vendors
post
and stuff
and
like that. I've been doing that.
the
Yes.
vendor list and the poster, yeah.
Yes, I get those
So we have
too.
a
Yeah.
poster, and then we also have a vendors list that show you the different vendors
Yes.
and what they're gonna be
Yes.
bringing to the event. So that's a new thing we bring forward, and we're trying to get one
Nice.
or two persons on board, like maybe Brimstone Hill, to help us with a little sponsorship, and maybe even certain other aspects like the Department of Cooperatives and other places to try help us. So because sometimes these things necessary. to keep the energy going. You know, we have Slaughter gonna be the one who has deal with the music as usual. You know, and
Yes,
Billa
sir. Big
Vibe
up
Sound.
Slaughterhouse.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
bigger Billa Vibe Sound. Always there from since
Yes, sir.
1990s. We rolling with Slaughter. You know,
Oh,
back in the time, we used to be with the man from Newtown, Tommy and
Yeah, man.
Fox.
Execution of Tommy. Execution of Fox. Yeah, man.
Executioner.
That's the
Yeah,
boy, man.
and
Tom
it's
is the boy,
them.
man. Executioner, man.
Yeah, but
Foxy, all the
man, they
man up the
used to
so.
link with
Happy Ali.
Slaughter. Slaughter used to technically be part of
Yes,
Executioner
yes, yes.
before he died, to build up vibes. So a long time we are roll with Tommy and we gotta stick with Tommy because a faithful soldier when it comes to music for us and playing
Yeah,
the
man.
music that we like. You know, he don't play around, so we respect him for that. Yeah, and last organic market, we had the Virgin Michael Summer come from overseas. He really did a great performance, but it was unfortunate. It was a little later in the program, and some people had moved off. But I think we have some video footage of that performance, and I think they should just put some of these performances on the internet and try to just do whatever they can see them still because they could promote themselves as artists. I think Michael Summer is a good artist here, still, and I would
Yeah,
have given
man.
him.
Man got
And the
good
rest of
vibe, good
the
energy.
artists them that perform to Shiloh and
Yes.
you know,
Yeah, man. Tyler is good
and
artist.
Jungles. Yeah,
Yeah,
man, we have some good artists to come to and
yes,
do a
man.
thing.
Good artist. Good local
Yeah.
artist.
Yeah, so we hopefully could
What
get some
needs
of
to
these
happen?
artists come over to Davis. You know, but to the guy anything on the CM, they don't understand that there's a tie-up, you know, but I got just left it still, you know.
You gonna work out,
It's so
man. You
hard.
work out.
Because like, we'll gotta go down
But your
and then
son,
by
le,
sundown we try to go Nevis. And then we gotta still come back and catch boat from all the way Peninsula, come all the way and there.
that minor matters, man. That minor matters, small place, man. Let me get back
You
on the
say you're gonna do
let
that,
me get back on the herb thing. I
but
want to get the man views on the herb thing, yeah, son. And I want to get the man views on the herb thing and stuff like that. And earlier, Sankofa mentioned, I remember ain't everybody a part of a Rasta organization or a group. So a man let me not want me not get a free license. If I want to license the option whether I want it yes or not. Some yes, what I mean. So how that work? If you come make you sign me up, just have to just have to get somebody sign them up. So this is what get membership. It's just like and then me not understand this thing, yeah. Yeah, you see what I mean? If me a Rasta, I mean if you go away, forget no you understand?
We can't stand for because everybody gonna want to have an opportunity to have a license
So who gonna say who not
go.
Rasta? So who gonna distinguish who not Rasta?
And so what?
Eh?
That
So
the
what?
problem.
Distinguish?
Everybody could just decide them a Rasta.
But
So,
Sankofa,
Rasta.
Sankofa, hold on. One of the reasons why
We didn't decide who's a Rasta either.
But who
We
gonna
can't
decide it?
No.
decide
This
who's a
ain't no Sankofa. This ain't not you personally. This ain't not you personally. So don't take it that way. Here's what I'm saying, right?
But if you go to a group, your son, if you go to some group.
No, yeah, but
So,
that's so. But here's the thing.
Okay,
Here's the thing,
we go to
Banky.
higher heights then. So me go to higher heights. But the man say me have to be a part of a group, you know. So by big so by now come to another meeting, man, now saying I have nothing for you. You have to go seek something else. So me say buy me if you go. Me say do the reality of what things are going on.
But Banky,
So I'm going to say the same thing.
here is
So
where the thing is,
group.
Banky.
Here's where
the problem is. The thing was set up. The thing is set up for a religious organization. It is not set up just for Rastafari. So that is why I have a problem. I have a problem with you still now when it comes to Rastafari. When it comes to Rastafari, you want to tell me that I have to be a part of a group or an organization because the law ain't set up just for Rastafari. It's set up for religious organization. So if you're a Muslim and you use cannabis, you should be able to get the right to use it. If you're a Hindu and your part of your religion is cannabis, you should be able to use it. So why is it then as Rasta that I have to come and say that I'm a part of any religious, group or sect of Rastafari in order to get benefit. Because when certain things are open to Christians, you don't have to say whether you're Jehovah's Witness or whatever, you're Christian. So that is my thinking. It should be open. And so even though they want to argue that that anybody can come and say they're Rasta, for the kind of persecution that Rasta go through, even if anybody come and say them a Rasta, give them the clearance, because of the persecution that Rasta don't go through. So that is where I stand with that. Now, in regards to... Yes.
Hello. I would say that the price has been paid for all the suffocation that the Rasta went through. That is payment.
Exactly.
So the price has been already paid. So now it's time for them to get some benefits.
Whether you're part of any group or not, just free it up for Rasta.
That's it. This is time to free up everything. Free the herb. And as root as Rasta, they cannot decide what we should do or what we should not do. We already know the herb. We already know everything about the herb. So we should have that preference and that right to use the herb to our advantage, to motivate and to build foundation within I communities to help each other.
We not beg them to use what belong. Remember, we're not begging, we're not ask permission in the virgin. We ain't asking permission from these people here, because we use the herb naturally all the time, Oh,
all right,
so they can't understand this thing, and if we make sure this thing, they comprehend this thing properly. We not ask permission, we use something naturally for decades.
How to use it, the amount to
Banky,
use the amount to
maybe
carry.
it's time.
Yes, I.
Maybe it's time for one ORU, which is the head organization of Rastafari, so to speak, to really do some serious push in terms of having a clarion call for all Rastafari, regardless of house or whatever, and let this be like a rallying point.
Users of herb too.
And users of herb as well, to engage in discussion, engage in debate, and then seek to see how we can move forward to address the issue, because it is a pressing issue. It is an issue of concern, and at the same time, also it can help to stimulate whether membership and so on to of ORU, and also the other organizations and so on, when they realize as well the benefits of organizing and coming together. So not because let me make this part clear. Not because I am arguing and defending the fact that I think that whether you're part of a group or organization or not, that Rastafari should benefit. I am also still strongly for organizing and centralizing. And so we should also, as Rastafari, seek to strengthen each other and cooperate together regardless of the houses. And we need to. And issues like these should be issues that help to bring us together to address these issues. Because like I usually used to tell my brethren when we used to reason, when a policeman used to see a Rasta, police now stop and argue whether you're Bobo or you're 12 tribe. All this is a Rasta. And that is how they deal with you. It's only we used to get these differences amongst ourselves to separate ourselves. And so the same way, the persecution was meted out to all Rasta, whether you're Bobo 12 tribe or whatever. So we need to also address the issues together and see ourselves sometimes from that perspective, even though we may have our personal differences and our religious or spiritual differences. So, I mean, brethren, we would have been on this, true conversation for, 2.5 hours now. And, it may not seem like so long. But we
come back next week.
We are open to bringing you guys back some other time. I really want to let Higher Heights Rastafari organization know that you can just hit me up, hit up Banky, and we would definitely want to bring you back to talk more about Higher Heights and also to get some of your views and opinions on other issues in relation to Rastafari. Sankofa, as always, you're not even like a guest. You're more like another co-host. You know what I mean? But as usual, same way, you're welcome to come back on the platform and share your views, and opinions, and we can get into some more other things. Now, the last wrap up, we'll give each person an opportunity, or each group, Sankofa and Higher Heights, an opportunity to put in the last, utterances, whether to invite people to your event and talk about whatever you want to put in for the last minute or two. So Sankofa or Higher Heights, whichever want to go first.
Well, I'd like to give thanks for inviting I to spread the word about Higher Heights Rastafari movement. Banky have been inviting I for a while now, but
Yes, sorry.
it's always the
Timing,
the timing. That's the word I'm looking for. Give thanks. So it's always the timing, and this was the right time. So I'd like
Everything
to
alignment.
give thanks, and my position on the herb is one thing. Legalization, free up the
Yes,
herb.
I. Yes, I.
With the herb.
Calling upon the
Yes,
politicians
I.
them to remove the drug act, because
Yes, I.
that's one thing why hinder things right now as well. As
So the drug act over the Constitution then. So the drug act override the Constitution.
Yeah, they have to remove the drug act, but we don't know. But we don't know the fear to move it. But that is something we as Rasta got to fight for as well. Aye, Rastafari.
Yeah,
Yes,
blessed
sir.
love. It was certainly a pleasure to be on this program this evening. I certainly enjoyed it, and I also want to give you the assurance, in my capacity as the chair of the Elders Committee within Higher Heights, that I would be vouching for Higher Heights to continuously engage with you guys and keep you abreast of what's happening. And for Brother Sankofa, it was certainly a delight to be at our ORU gathering once again. It was certainly inspirational for me and most of the guys. And I can assure you that you'll see us more often than that. Because we intend to build. We don't destroy, we build, and we're building unity, and we're building love, and we're building everything that's good. Like the song says, do good, that's our motto. We're doing good.
Do it in the morning.
Do it in the morning, and we do it in the evening. We do it in the evening, and we do it in the morning. We do it all day long. Doing good. And finally, I'd like to say that for the anniversary celebrations, we have two main events that we would want the public to be engaged in. And that is on the Monday, the lecture discussion with Brother Michael Blake. And for those of you who don't know who is Michael Blake, he's a former educator, school teacher, principal, author, presently writing some books. I think he's on his fourth or fifth book at this point. He is also the former ambassador to Cuba. And so that to give you a brief synopsis of who he is. And so he'll be the featured speaker on that discussion. And then on the 24th, we have the Natural Festival. Sankofa, I'm hoping to see you there. If it's even for 2 hours. I'm looking forward for you to come and do a performance so that, lighten up the crowd. It plans to be a good, we have a lot of vendors already confirmed for that. You can come and get your oil, your cream, your soaps, your lotion, everything natural. Anything you come, you get natural. Natural coconut water. everything natural. And we'll also be having on hand a Dr. Hobson, and she'll be controlling a booth. So if you suffer from high blood pressure or diabetes, or you want to get a checkup, whatever your case is, there's always an exclusive area there for you to come and get whatever treatment free of cost. And like I said, the event starts at 11. You can come get your lunch and you'll hang out all day, all evening. And the entertainment starts in the evening at sunset, live show. And we have 2 bands organized along with some hi-fi DJs and so on. Lots of entertainment in store. So I'm appealing to one and all. Come on out and enjoy a beautiful day. Blessed love.
I, and for I Selassie the first, I give thanks and praise for this moment. I and I Rastafari movement to be on the eye of this present moment. And give thanks and praise for the moment. It's a joy and a pleasure to reason with ones and ones. And I'm saying to ones and ones out there, come forward and come and get a spiritual energy from higher Rastafari movement as we go forward. So higher movement for all one. This the time. Give thanks and praise. I.
Rastafari. Sankofa.
Yeah.
Your mic.
Yeah, blessings. Yeah, blessings,
Yes,
blessings. Yeah, blessings to one and all. Like I was reasoning a little bit concerning the market still, but I wanted to specifically call out all the vendors them so that we could actually know the vendors them who's gonna be at the event on this Sunday. It's a good day, even if you're a church going person, you could actually come out CMS still because the reality is after church you could come is a conscious event still. We got the Gideon Force Organic Crop. We're the one sponsoring the event, but we also the deal with the food, the ital food and so for the night, and also have a vending area where we sell the organic produce from our farm. We try to deal with just strictly organic food. So if we do have any other vendors that we get food from, we try to confirm the ways that they're planting, and if it's good enough, we go forward with them. And then we have Wharton's Cannabis Extracts. That is a brother Greg doing his local distils techniques to get the raw product of the oil, and still sometimes mixing a little coconut oil with it, but it's very strong and nice. It's a good medicine. He's going regional right now with his products still because he don't move products different parts of the Caribbean. So just now, hopefully, he could get things started out more properly still, and he definitely, I think, would be a part of them and industry in some farms still. House of Youth are gonna be there performing CMS still, and House of Youth is I'm part of House of Youth. Is my family and one or two other brethren that do deal with music. We like a musical foundation House of Yehuda is. They have a spiritual aspect of it because when we come together, we reason and spirituality, and we also reason and practice music. And we're not like a band per se, but we have poetry with drumming, acoustics, dealing with my son could play the drums, so
The
he
art
could drum
form.
and yeah, it's more like that. So you will have a lot of
Different
poetry
talent.
and
Yeah.
energy. So we're trying to. It's almost like eventually gonna be a musical school, but we got to get my daughter, who is gonna be the one to train other persons. She went away to study, so we're gonna have to just get a trained person because we eventually want them to be able to play other instruments as well too. Cause they kind of stuck. Just what I know and then what my youths know and whatever. But we had a daughter already went and trained in keyboard. which she's really the musician because she also plays some of the guitar, same still. So we just have to find somebody else to train them with other things, and eventually they might expand more in the music. They sound real good. They're gonna be there performing too as well. I'm not sure if I'm performing yet. I'll just have to decide. And but I'll definitely gonna give a speech. So don't wanna doubt the thing and make it seem like me because remember it's a more female energy we are trying to push. We are also having Febo with big agriculture too. She gonna be coming too. And we have another sister gonna be coming too, and plus my two girls. And we having a one or two poetry as well too. So we have tax crafts. He's a man who just do craft with coconut shells and coconut itself, and he produce some real good craft, very good local craft. So we have Sugartown Organic, which in this history never miss an organic market since we've been doing the organic market, and it's a couple of years well now. So I respect her for always being there and always being there on time. We have a whole heap of
Yes,
different
sir.
products. You see it? She's gonna be coming with more skincare and hair products, agro process products like body butters and oils and different things like that still. Then we have Nature's Best, supposed to be coming from Nevis. Banking know them because they was at the event.
Yeah, man.
Herbal
Big up the
skincare
Mortons,
and
Randy and
bless.
Kamisha.
Oh yeah, she's a real she and the Virgin and the sister is very strong in what they're doing.
Yes.
They standard high
Big up
too.
Anastasia also for Sugartown.
Yeah, so it's good to have these people at the events because they actually have a following too. Yeah, because I know for sure that because of some of these people would come to the event. So, and then we have this new girl here with the emerald. She does hair candles, like hair hand poured candles and handcrafted, like accessories and them things here. So she makes her own candles and them things here. And then we have
Nice.
Leave Gate Tasty, a locally made ice pops and agro processed food items. The farmers make like a spinach ice pop with coconut milk, and she sell off everything when we was
Mm.
in Tabernacle that time there with the organic market. Because sometimes we move it to different villages as well too. And
Nice.
she's gonna be there, and she did real well. And the Lion of Judah remedies, herbal remedies, that's the Luton. He deal with more holistic medicines and herbs. He's like a herbalist and Sparks. You can't forget Sparks. Never miss a market as well neither. So we have the foundation market people, which is Sparks, Lion of Judah, Gideon, House of Yehuda, and for sure Sugartown Organics. And we get some new persons. And a brethren from Nevis, Lawton, he say he want to come with some herb wine. We're considering it. Even though we try not to get too much strong. We say it's natural, so we're going to try to see what we could do there and maybe bring him forward too. So we have a good amount of vendors, so we want the people to support and we want the people to come out. And with the cannabis energy, we're going to do our best to serve the people in a righteous cause, not infringing on what we believe in as still, because we can't just follow what people have said. But I still will ask the public, rather than criticizing, they should dig more deeper and ask questions before they utter, because what I realize is that they got different organizations. Even in our discussions, that they come in discussion to make a point, but it's to drag the discussion in their favor. Because I see that they with the SKM time just now, and how Yason responded because they wanted to drag, and then they're going to use that there as a quote in the newspaper without your permission, and then try to create a confusion with you and the government, which in your intention wasn't that. So for your burn all spies and traitors, you see it? I want to, and I don't give no permission for nobody to take my things out of context to try to create no dissension between me and nobody else. Anybody have an issue, raise it with me straight up. My number is
Aye,
there.
aye.
My house is there. I ain't fear nobody. I ain't running from nobody. You see, do not take my information that I say out of context and go make it to create another problem, because I realize that will happen. And I see it happen
Of
tonight.
course.
So I used to think about it, but I never really get to see it in full force. So I get to see what's going on. Banky, be weird that they still, eh?
The minor matters in
Yeah.
a virgin,
You
because if
see?
I go on my platform and we're speaking and anybody come and ask question, because yes and no, we don't butt up to we keep things straight, because we can defend ourselves. So
Yeah,
as me say,
exactly. But
strictly
still, you
straight
got to
up.
be
We not butt
mindful of
right up.
people.
We don't need
A lot
SKN
of
and no
people,
other media to tell man how to speak. We don't need them to butt up. We defend ourselves, virgin. So if SKN
yeah,
or
but
any
what
other
I'm saying is,
media put out anything me ain't say, I pull you up and defend it. That is how man's flex. You understand? Man not
yeah.
got time for
And that's
politricking.
why I'm
You know
saying
what I'm
that day,
saying?
because they kind of
Of
did that
course,
day
we
to me the
understand. We know
other day,
these
and
things,
I like it,
virgin.
because it's
Man are
not,
big people,
it's
so keep
the
it straight.
intention of how man say it, not how them are trying to
Yes.
phrase it. You see it? So
All
at the
natives.
same
Let's
way,
get no vibes that. All natives miss
I
say.
just lay them
Yeah,
and
that was
they
miss say. In the business. That's the way it is.
and then the
Man, that's
people,
what man
they
for.
can't understand no traitor banky. We will never traitor the
Huh?
people, because we always for the people. What they have to do
Yes,
is,
I.
anytime they hear anything to deal with Rasta, find out what Rasta involvement in it was, not just go and
Yes, I.
create a scenario based on what you just see, because
And no
nobody
massive.
really knew what were in the packages, them, not even we. You see it?
Well,
So it's
Sankofa,
just, at the end of the day, they just use that there as a Photoshop. You
Sankofa,
see it?
here's what I'm seeing here, right? Based on a lot of the comments that's been coming in, right? The people would want to hear from Sankofa.
You have to come back
So
on.
we are going to arrange for Sankofa to come back, because the last two comments, what is Sankofa doing to preserve his ruling? And then somebody said, I don't think the AG is doing a proper job, because instead of him being the person to clarify most of these laws they've been passing, he is a part of keeping the people confused. So you can tell that, based on the feedback and so on, that the people are interested in the conversation. People are interested in, clarifying and hearing some more of your clarification. And they know also too that you play a critical role in terms of the movements forward, and they also know that you play a critical role in terms of Rastafari. So also the Rastafari community as well would be listening and looking forward also to hear more from you as well. So we really look forward to continuing and engaging the topic more. And I know, when it comes to Rastafari and cannabis, we can never end the conversation, the true conversation. And so what we're gonna do here, we're gonna, um, set ourselves for part two. We
Yes, I.
already have the open invitation for Higher Heights, so you're open to return, and Sankofa, you also are open for return. And the listeners, all of you who are on various platforms, whether it's Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube, we really want to thank you guys for being a
Yes,
part of
I.
the discussions. Your comments, if not, we would be here like talking to ourselves, but you are giving us the assurance that you are listening and you're weighing in and you're paying attention, and we do really want to appreciate you for that. Some of the comments we would have missed. We really do apologize for those who we didn't get to and we didn't get to respond to, but here on this platform, we generally seek to try to, as much as possible, follow the comments and respond to the comments as much as possible. But as you would realize, this topic, there was a lot of things to share. We had, information in terms of Gideon Force doing some things and St. Kitts, and we also have Higher Heights involved in the anniversary activities here on Nevis. So in terms of Rastafari contribution to the community, there's no doubt, even if there is in the minds of people still, in terms of the positive contributions of Rastafari to our community. Here are two organizations, two groups, definitely representing and demonstrating that they are not what they claimed us to be, as bad and criminals and thieves and all of these things they try to align Rastafari with. But We are here to look out for the elders, the youth, the poor, the shelterless, and make sure that our societies are built and taken care of. And that's the motto of Rastafari. So I really want to say enough respect to Sankofa and his organization for carrying on the mission for all of these years. You're a much older group than Higher Heights, and I want to say give thanks to Higher Heights also and Nevis, for sticking together for 3 years, and the projects that you're looking forward to do. I just want to encourage the people within the federation and the people within the sound of our voice to, if you can in any way, continue to support these organizations. Higher Heights, I really appreciate the objectives and the things that you guys are really trying to achieve. I'm really hoping that people can, support you guys' event, and when they see you are selling ITAL or whatever other events that you guys are doing to raise funds, that they would make the effort to really support, because the monies are going towards some worthy causes. Banky, as usual, my co-host, always a pleasure having you with me, and we look forward to another edition of DeTopiks next week.
Let me say a piece before we go.
Okay, edition, and we look forward to having you on Friday also, when we have another edition of Everything Agriculture here on Real Entertainment Network. Banky?
Yes, I just want to tell Lesson Kofa, thanks for being on board, part of the show. Greatly appreciate that. I mean, the general public really been meeting me and questioning me as if like I'm the one in charge of this cannabis. I'm the CEO. I mean, I've been getting this a lot. But people are surprised I'm not a part of these things. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, because we've been advocating for long. I'm just a regular person, just like the part of the general public, just advocating. I'm not a part of these things. Thank Higher Heights for being on board, Reggie, Brigo, and Iba. Great appreciate the guys taking up the opportunity to come face the general public and let them know you're all about and the activities coming up. I think you all did a beautiful job. Let me say this. Ain't no bad with the talent that we have here. I seen the talent. You know what I'm saying? I seen the herb that grow, that been growing for years and years and years. And the younger generation who take up the mantle is doing a beautiful job. And that is what we're supposed to see. Progress. So when you see progress, because it's not about me, yes, and it's not about us, it's about who below coming up and those who nurturing it. And that is what you want. But you see the herb, if a male, a young female grow it, or a young male grow it, and that's what it's all about. Why would you want to rob these young generation? We're not thinking about us to bring in outsiders to take up we land, we water, we air, everything that is around us. You understand our space? Well, then I have no space with them there. With all them acreage them have, they want to take up a little space. That don't make no sense. And I think we all can agree on this. And if it's one thing, Astafan come up and say, but let it be for locals, but the next thing we come up and say, oh, for 5 years. No, within the 5 years, never, ever, ever let SKN times write that. And that's what they should be above. Agreeing what I'm saying is right. You see what I mean? Not jump and to bring in outside people to be a part of this. We're going to sugarcane now. And that's what we're going back to. You're going to tobacco. This is not the days where we parents agreeing with politicians in a virgin. We are not agreeing if something is not right. You know what I'm saying? We're rising up to these things. We're being canned, and the Attorney General need to come better than that. You know what I'm saying? And the whole cabinet too. And I'm disappointed by Dr. Joe to say he come out of a wound of you understand, of the foundation. He's supposed to set the example, but what? Being controlled. You see? Being controlled. This never happened, Virgin. Nobody's supposed to pay for no license, as I tell the chair was here, and go to no ecclesiastic for nothing. You go your herb and that's it, because it's a policing, Virgin. Which when you are coming and people yards, 5,000, 3,000 people register, 1,500 in St. Kitts or whatever, and 1,500 Nevis, and you want to come in the people yard to see a manga 5 trees or 6 trees. Load the people them. Because yours is a non-poisonous plant. Which we don't need to tell with that. Where we know these things. Yeah. We don't want to hear nothing from these fools in a Virgin. Because we use the herb all the time. So we don't want non-users come tell us what we say all the time was good. For them to tell us it was good. Well, that make no sense. Well, how that makes sense? What kind of...
yeah, I already know it's good, man.
What kind of class school these people go to? This thing ain't making sense.
By the way, it might not make sense. It might not make sense to you. but it
man?
make not sense. It make
You
not
be
sense
herb.
for them. It make dollars, and that's how we're gonna
May
wrap up.
want
It
hear
doesn't make
nothing
sense for them. It
about no
make
2 gram,
dollars.
but
They
no
gonna
2
be
ounce of weed,
making
nothing like
dollars.
that.
You're
2
looking
ounce
at
of weed is
making
like a
sense.
chalice.
They're looking at making dollars, and
Yeah, but
that's how
that
we're
me
gonna
care
wrap
what the
up.
man
And we're
look
gonna have
like.
to get into part 2. We're gonna have to do a part
Yes.
2. I'm loving the intensity. I'm loving the discussion. I'm loving the debate, and I'm
Natives
sure those who are
only.
going to listen to this
Natives
are going to.
only. Natives only. Let that be known. Put that on a shirt. Natives only with the herb. Yeah. Put that on
Okay,
a
so the
shirt.
next discussion,
not
the
to
next,
have no
the next
limit.
discussion
Yeah.
will be natives
I
only.
and I supposed to be
Natives
free to the
only.
fullness.
Yeah, we push the natives
Yes,
only.
I
Nobody
am.
coming in period for no 5
Okay,
years,
so
no
next
10
week
years.
Tuesday,
Never, ever, ever. Yeah.
next week Tuesday, natives only. Sankofa, enough
You're not,
respect Higher
you're not doing
Heights,
anything.
enough
Yes,
respect
I.
Banky, enough
I,
respect
I,
Yeah,
Ira,
man.
I, give
and the
thanks.
Real
Give
Slay
thanks,
Entertainment
music.
brother.
Network. Take us out. Take
Majesty,
us out,
I.
Ira.
Yeah, man.
Rastafari.
Yes,
I,
and on the
I,
mic till I play the music.
Lassie,
Nice.
Rastafari.
Ira is in queue, man. Ira is in queue. So, enough
Yes,
respect
I.
everybody. Let's see Ira giving us Naya Bingy
Yeah,
music.
man.
Ira give us Naya Bingy music outro.
I.
Who did it? Girl, you really showed me. Think with your heart, don't think with your body. Clever. Sorry, not sorry. Sorry, not Justin Timberlake. Write me a river. Lately, I be having conversations with myself, cause I feel like I have nobody to talk to. I be having conversations with myself, cause I feel like I have nobody to turn to. Everything was green light, now we got the red. Could've had somebody else choose you instead. I be having conversations with myself, cause I feel like I have nobody to talk to. You tried to convince me it was all in my head, and I felt like it's not you, it's me instead. And I wanted to rock with you, roll